So I did watch Full Gear tonight, as you probably saw with the reactions. I came in late a little bit because I was going back and forth really about whether or not I should order Full Gear. But then when I started seeing people on Twitter, clamoring and praising the opening match between Darby Allin and MJF, I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. That pretty much, changed my mind. Like, I gotta order this. I gotta watch it. And the one thing about pay-per-view ordering, traditional pay-per-view ordering, is you can watch, the replay immediately afterwards. Whether you gotta wait a few minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You could watch it immediately afterwards, especially what you've missed. And this is not the first time I've done something like this. I remember back when I lived in Kansas, I ordered WrestleMania 17, and I had missed out on some of it. And this was at a time when they hadn't really decided to go the route of, okay, we're going to put the replay immediately afterwards. They were still in that traditional replay mode of, okay, you see it once on the night of its initial showing, and then if you want to watch it again, you got to order the replay a few nights later. It was still in that mode, if you will, in 2001. So I remember, being in a similar situation. So what I did here, though, is because I was like going back and forth on it, I just wanted to see exactly how people were going to react to it. And when they said, MJF and Darby Allin was a match you have to see, was a banger of an opener, I said, okay, I got to watch it. And to be honest, watching the replay, at least the beginning of it for that match, I have to say that they were right. The opening match, honestly, between MJF and Darby Allin was a killer match. I mean, these guys, from a story perspective and even an in-ring legitimate standpoint, they proved exactly what Maxwell J. Friedman said about them. They are two of the four pillars, the future of all elite wrestling, if not all pro wrestling. Sports entertainment-wise, WWE-wise, whatever you want to call it, they are indeed the future. And they went out there tonight and they proved it. They proved it from bell to bell. These guys just went out there and they killed it. They countered each other. They basically were thinking of the same moves. They just went back and forth, and they told a great story, in between there. So, in the end, MJF does end up winning, and the way he wins is exactly the way he said he was going to win, with a side headlock. But what he did is he basically played into, Darby's disdain for him, by trying to taunt Darby into hitting him with the skateboard to get himself disqualified. Darby said no. He handed it off to the referee. The referee, distracted, is distracted putting the, the skateboard away. Allows MJF to bring out the dynamite diamond ring, put it on his finger and nail Darby with it and win the match with a side headlock like he said he was going to do. But the storytelling element for Maxwell is his leg. He hurt his, not his leg, but his knee. It really started to affect him throughout the match because he did a power bomb, on Darby. He did a powerbomb on his knee on Darby, if you will. Basically powerbombed Darby on his knee. He did a tombstone on the ring apron, and he was really selling the heck out of that knee. Now, whether or not that plays a factor later on, it's hard to say. I think he's going to be okay. I think they just might say, look, just go out there, say something, brag about winning, build up to a potential rematch with a stipulation, and just give yourself time to heal up any looseness or any ligaments that you may have torn or stretched or whatever. But yeah, it was a good opener, there's no doubt about it. Then we had the Lucha Brothers defending against FTR. FTR beat them a few weeks ago, disguising themselves as Los Ranchos or something, and they basically like I said, they basically beat them, disguising themselves as luchadors to become the AAA Tag Team Champions. Now, the AAA titles weren't on the line here because they got to defend them at Triple Mania, but the AEW tag titles were, and this was a good match. This was actually a decent meshing of styles. You had the old school style of FTR, and you had the high-flying Lucha Libre style of the Lucha Brothers, and they meshed very, very well. The ending basically came when FTR tried to pull a you know, a move out of the Killer Bees playbook, because the one thing Killer Bees, even though they were baby faces, were known for, when they wanted to try to get a win over a team that they probably knew they'd lose to, they would basically put these Killer Bee masks on, or these bee masks on, and try to fool the person that was in the ring with them, like fool them into guessing like who's who. And so what they did here is they tried to replicate that, and it backfired. It was Cash Wheeler that tried to do it at first to try to fool them, and even though he wasn't legally the right guy to be in the ring, it still didn't matter. He got caught, he got pinned. 1, 2, 3 Lucha Brothers retained the tag team titles. And of course they tried to argue that he wasn't the legal man and everything, but it didn't matter. So obviously we're going to see another rematch between these two down the line. I'm wondering, hold on for a sec, let me look something up here. Now my computer just updated, thank God no effects have come out of it just yet. Let me see here. Triple Mania 2001, let's see. When did it what? They say it's supposed to take place again, what the heck? So, I don't know. Hold on. Hold on here. Hold on. What is the next event for them? Oh, Triple Regat 2 is an upcoming professional wrestling event. The event originally scheduled to take place in October. Everything. Okay, let's see. So yeah, this is the FTR. They're taking on the Lucha Brothers for the AAA Tag Team titles. At the Triple Mania DJ2, I think. I don't know what that means. Let me look that up. Hold on. Royal House. Okay, Triple Mania Royal House 2 is what it's called, and they're gonna have a rematch with them on December 4th. It'll be December 4th. FTR and the Lucha Brothers will meet there for the tag titles. So yeah, we're gonna get a rematch. We're gonna get a rematch at Triple Mania between these two. But like I said, the meshing of styles was great, and like I said, they tried to pull a Killer Beast kind of thing, and it didn't work. It backfired, and Lucha Brothers retained. So maybe they'll play into that leading into the Triple Mania match to maybe, it might become a mask versus, title match, a title versus mask match. Who knows? That's one way of looking at it. One way of looking at it, anyway. But yeah, that happened there. Then we had Miro. Then to follow that, we had Miro versus Bryan Danielson in the finals of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. And this was pretty good. This was a pretty good match storytelling wise. I mean, Miro, as you'll probably tell in my reactions, he was a beast here. I mean, he was no-selling the punches and the punches and the kicks at first by Danielson, and then he started to sell them. And then as we got close to the end of the match, he just started to, as I said in my reaction video, he started to hulk up, like, oh, give me your best. Like, here, take a shot, boom, nothing. Here, take a shot, boom, nothing. He was basically toying with him. But in the end, what happened is he was toying with him to the point that he basically kept clubbering him down afterwards each time. Then he picked Danielson up, put him on the ropes, and you're thinking he's going to do a Samoan drop or something, right? Nope. Danielson fights out of it, hits a tornado DDT, locks in some kind of submission, but as he locks it in, I think it's Aubrey Edwards, she has to ring the bell and say it's over because he's knocked out. Because the storyline is Miro's Achilles heel, his weakness, is his neck. His new role, gimmick, if you will, is he's a redeemer of God or whatever God he believes in, kind of like Greek mythology, if you will. And we know in the Greek mythology that a god that one of the legends there is called Achilles. And even though he had the whole total package, the one thing that hurt him was his heel. That was his one weakness. And so you're looking at Miro being in that kind of thing, but the weakness being in that same kind of situation, I should say, but his weakness being the neck. So yeah, Danielson ended up winning. He's going to face the winner of the world title match. Which, by the way, if you watch the reactions and you see this, you'll know who that is. Then after that, we had the women's title match between Britt Baker and Ty Conte. I'll say this: it definitely started out slow. Like there was a bit of miscommunication. Like I said in the reaction video, you kind of tell that both ladies are still kind of green, even though they have a few years of experience. They're still kind of green. But you know, as it got close to the middle of the match and mostly towards the end, and this was kind of the story with some of these later on, it started to pick up. It really started to pick up towards the end. Of course, Jamie Hayter and Rebel tried to interfere, and you know they did, but it wasn't enough to secure a submission win for Britt. What happened is Britt actually had to use Ty's momentum against her, because Ty was always breaking out, always getting close to the ropes, always reversing, breaking out, preventing the lockjaw from being, you know, applied, and rolling around, basically trying to like roll her up and everything. And what Britt did is she took one of those attempts at a roll up and reversed it on her and put the roll up on Ty to get the win. So yeah, Britt's still the champion, but Ty did look strong, even though it started off a little sloppy at first, but it did however, it did pick up at the end. Britt still remains the champion. But I do stick by this. That this is a match, honestly, all due respect to Ty Conte, all due respect to Britt Baker, this is a match I think they could have easily put as the main event of a Dynamite or a Rampage. And I don't think anything would be lost. And so, now the question is, who's next on Britt's list of challengers? I would have to say it's got to be Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, if you're watching, you have to be the next one. Either you become TBS champion and you make it champion for champion versus champion. Whatever the case is, you have to be next in line. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think there is. And then after that, we had the tag team match. Cody and Pac against Malachi Black and Andrade. And just like with the women's match, it started out a little slow. I mean, the main storytelling here was basically the I guess you could say the mistrust or the in-cooperation between Cody and Pac, and then later on Andrade and Malachi. And you know, just like with the women's match again, and I think Alex said it best in his live stream, which he's currently doing, just Alex that is, these were basically filler matches in the middle of the pay-per-view, and it was basically just like with the women's match, towards the end, or in the middle, towards the end of it, it started to pick up a lot more and really become a decent match that easily could have main evented a Dynamite or a Rampage. And in the end, Pac hits the Black Arrow on Andrade to win, and that's the end. That's pretty much the end of the match. After that, we had, I believe, let me make sure I get this right. Make sure I get this right, guys. I don't want to, you know, mess up here. I think Wikipedia has it. Here we go. And then after that, okay, so alright, so Britt was, okay, let me back up here a little bit. So, you know, we had, okay, I just talked about Britt's match, and I just talked about Cody's match. There was a match I missed, and that was the 6-man tag Falls Count Anywhere match, and this was good. This was a banger. It's almost like, you know, the first 5 matches were basically like bangers. They were basically hitting that out of the park each time, from a storyline perspective to an in-ring perspective. And this 6-man tag was no different. This trios match was no different. I mean, Jurassic, I mean, this, honestly, if I'm going to be totally honest here, this was to make Jurassic Express, not just Christian, but Jurassic Express look strong. To me, this was Jurassic Express's coming out party, finally. Like, 2 years in the making, and finally these guys get an opportunity to shine and show you what they're really about. Because Luchasaurus looked good, Jungle Boy, of course, looked good, Christian, of course, really helped carry the match. I mean, the dive he did onto what is it, Nick Jackson and, you know, Cutler and, you know, Michael Nakazawa, I think. That was great. And in the end, you had basically Jungle Boy hit a concerto on Matt Jackson to get the win. I mean, and everybody looked great here. I mean, Adam Cole looked great in this match. I mean, the fact that he looked strong in his own right, the fact that he brought out thumbtack-filled knee pads for him and the Bucks to do the BTE trigger on Luchasaurus with, that was innovative. The fact that they did the little, you know, tease of a double super kick while somebody's in the camel clutch, you know, applied by Cole before they kiss Cole on the cheek and everything. That they did that spot. They did a lot of good spots, but the one that really like shocked everybody, and even Jungle Boy's reaction during the match was said it all. You had Luchasaurus do a freaking shooting star press off the stage onto Adam Cole and the rest of them before Jungle Boy hit the concerto on Matt Jackson to win the match. So overall, it was great. A great banger and all that. And then, of course, that was followed by Cody and Pac and their match that I mentioned. And then that was followed by Britt Baker's match with Ty Conte, which I already talked about. So now that we're up to date, let's talk about CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. This was a good match. Storytelling-wise, it was awesome. I mean, the fact that, you know, right before the bell rings, Kingston, bam, hits Punk right in the face with the spinning fist, knocking him out. Basically, to me, told the story right there. It told the story. And it got physical, it got bloody, especially for Punk, because Punk ended up, you know, getting busted open thanks to Kingston. I guess throwing him into the ring pole, if you will. But overall, again, the storytelling here, in the physicality, just for the 11 minutes, according to Wikipedia, that they timed it at, was awesome. It was awesome. There's no doubt about it. The storytelling was great. In the end, Punk ended up winning by hitting a second GTS. And when he went to offer his handshake to Eddie Kingston, saying, "Hey, you've earned my respect now," Eddie walked away. And I think that's a story. And I think by walking away, the storyline still continues, because Eddie, you know, his storyline in character in real life is he's too proud to acknowledge or accept, you know, a loss, you know, to somebody that now suddenly wants to respect him. I think he wants that respect if he's the one that comes out victorious or something. So I think the storyline is going to obviously continue, and I'm not going to be surprised if their next match against each other is going to have an, I wouldn't say ultra-violent stipulation, but it's going to have a lights-out stipulation. There's no doubt. It's leading towards that, in my opinion. Then we had the Inner Circle against Men of the Year, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and America's Top Team. One of those members of America's Top Team being Dan Lambert. The one thing that really got people, and it was a Minneapolis street fight, 5-on-5 Minneapolis street fight. And at the beginning, what really got people was, why is there tags in a Minneapolis street fight? Like, what's going on here? And what I said in my reaction video is they basically put this together. They put this, you know, they put the tag, you know, the tag situation in there, or kept the tag deal, if you will, the tag team deal, the regular tag team rules, if you will, in there for the tagging, to kind of settle in the MMA guys of Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovski, or whatever his name is. That's why they did it, to ease them in before they said, okay, let's go out and do the thing. And you know, it went for a few minutes. Dan Lambert got some shots in before he got cornered. Before, you know, well, basically what happened is Jericho got put down for a bit. Dan Lambert said, hey, tag me in, told Andrei to tag him, and he did. And he started to basically act like a goofball, beat up on Jericho and all that, until Jericho caught him. And basically that's when it started to break down. You got the physicality, you got the weapons, you got the chairs, you got the toaster, you got the trash cans. You got almost the whole 9 yards. And in the end, what happened is that Jericho, he ended up, I think, yeah, he ended up hitting the three amigos. And let me pause right here. This was a night when you watch some of these matches. This was a tribute to Eddie Guerrero as well. Because it's 15 years ago he passed away. And he passed away in Minneapolis. And it was a night of tribute to him with some of these matches. And you saw, like I said, I think Jericho did the Three Amigos, and Punk did the same thing in his match. And then Jericho then hit the frog splash to win. He didn't hit the Judas effect. He didn't apply the walls of Jericho. He hit the frog splash, and then paid tribute. And won the match that way. Looked up and said, "I love you, Eddie." And that's how it. And I couldn't think of a better way. I couldn't think of a better way to pay honor to the guy than have some of these men and women, young and old. No offense towards them, competing tonight. Pay tribute to him 15 years later. It's unbelievable. It was great. It was great to see, and hopefully maybe WWE will notice this and be like, hey, Monday night, we need to do the same thing. Hopefully they'll do it. Who knows? I know Vicky being there was probably proud to see that. I really do. Alright, the main event. Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega for the AEW World title. Don Callis, of course, tried to interfere several times, which he did when the referee's back was turned. Basically, it got to a point where either I was thinking the ref's going to eject him by catching him, or he's going to get knocked down by Adam Page, and he was. Adam Page caught him. What happened is we had a referee bump. What happened is the match was good. Storytelling wise, the match was good, and it did look like Adam Page was going to lose, because it looked like Kenny Omega once again was going to win. Adam Page got busted open, but what happened was basically, Adam Page ended up getting some momentum, and he went to do a buckshot lariat. It's like he did one move off one side of the ring, then he went to the other side of the ring to get ready to do the buckshot, and the referee was right next to Kenny, and you knew Kenny was going to pull him aside, and he did. He pulled him right aside, aside, in front of him actually, to take the blunt of it, and the referee ended up down. So Don Callis then decides, okay, referee's down, I'm going to go interfere. Grabs the belt, goes to interfere, gets in the ring, gets ready to try to clock, Kenny, not Kenny, but Adam with it. Adam turns around, catches him, and then knocks, Don Callis on his butt, basically punches him down. And then Kenny tries to go for it, tries to hit him with the belt, which Adam ducks and everything. And what happens afterwards is you have the Young Bucks come down, and they're limping and everything, and you're thinking, oh great, here we go. Because even Tony Schiavone's like, oh, here come the Young Bucks, dipshits, if you will. But no. I think the moment you saw the Young Bucks, when you think about it, I think the moment you saw Matt and Nick Jackson come out the way they did, like, wait a minute, are they, what's going on here? You're thinking, are they going to interfere? What's going to happen? Because on Rampage, he told him, look, you interfere, I'll hunt you. Adam Page told the Bucks, hey, you do this, you interfere to help him win, I'll hunt you, I'll make it my mission to ruin your lives. And obviously that woke them up or something. Maybe the Concerto woke up Matt Jackson, I don't know. But what happened is they didn't interfere. They just came down, and it made it look like they might do it. But Adam, he kept looking at them. He went to one side to hit, like one, I don't know, it was a buckshot, one buckshot or something, to Kenny. He went to one side. He was looking at, Nick. Nick didn't do nothing. He goes to the other side after he does one maneuver, does the first maneuver. He goes to the other side. He looks at Matt, and he's thinking, are you going to interfere? But then what happens is Matt Jackson just nods his head and says, do it. Well, basically nods his head, but he says, kind of like giving him the go-ahead to basically take Kenny out. And that's what Adam did. And even the commentators were like, what the heck? What did Matt just tell him to do? And Kenny ends up getting hit with the buckshot lariat. Adam Page ends up winning the title, winning the match, and it looks like the Bucks have turned face. Or have they? You see, that's the question. What is going on here? Because you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, why were they because you look at that promo earlier when, promoting the six-man tag, and you have them talking about how they beat up on Adam Page, but then you have this, it's like, what's going on? And now it's starting to think, and honestly, I think it's now starting to sink in. the storylines come full circle. Because remember, the Bucks never liked Don Callis. And maybe the reason they've been acting like this, along with Adam Cole, maybe unbeknownst to Adam Cole, maybe the reason they've acted like this, you know, joined up with Kenny, joined up with Callis, is to hopefully is for the right moment for, you know, basically to bide their time is what I'm trying to say. Bide their time for the right moment to where they could finally hopefully get Kenny back and get him away from Callis. So I'm thinking maybe that's what it is. Like maybe they were waiting for this moment to happen, you know, to, you know, become a reality, so that they feel that, hey, if somebody can get this title, like somebody close to us as well can get this title off Kenny, you know, maybe it'll also get him away from Callis, because Callis is a plague. Who knows? But yeah, Kenny Omega wins. He celebrates with the Dark Order, and they go off the air. And I can say this honestly, for the final pay-per-view of the year, AEW went out with a bang. Yeah, they had a few sleepers here and there, a few matches that could have easily been, you know, Dynamite, Rampage main events. There's no doubt. But overall, besides that, it was an A show. Not A+, but an A show. I'll give them that. It was an A show. I think the things that took it down a few notches, like I said, is Britt and Ty could have been a main event on Dynamite or Rampage. And the same with Cody and Pac's tag match against Malachi and Andrade. But overall, I thought it was a good show, and that's all I can really say about it. I'm glad I saw it. Like I said, I was hesitant at first, but I'm now glad I saw it. And yeah, congratulations to Hangman Adam Page. You know, thank you to Tony Khan. You did the right thing. You listened to the fans. You did exactly what AEW, well, not did, but you showed what you wanted AEW to always be about, and that's the fans. You gave us what we wanted. Now the thing is, you need to roll with it. But the honest question coming out of this now is, what's going on with the Bucks? What's this about? How's this going to affect the relationship with Adam Cole? What's going on? It's going to be interesting going into Dynamite. But what did you guys think of Full Gear? Let me know down in the comments below. So I was in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check out my Teespring store. Also check me out at BW Roses Discussions, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses. Also check me out at Patreon on BW Roses. And also check me out at Venmo if you want to help donate there as well. So until next time, guys, that is my AEW Full Gear 2021 review. And I will talk to you all later.